Hello again.
Hello.
I'm wanded up here. I'm ready for this. The Harry Potter reunion. Dude, can you real quick before we get into it? Does it
Yeah.
strike you as odd? I just thought of this when I got these out. No one in the Wizarding world has ever dual wielded wands. Like from a
Yeah.
combat.
Why is that?
I mean, like
I wonder if it doesn't make a difference.
I guess for the a combat reason is the only reason I could
Yeah.
see. Other than that, it's like to just do your everyday magical shit. One is enough. But I guess for combat though, you could like you could be firing like twice as
Yeah.
many spells. Like just never let up. You
Isn't
know?
it like a focus though? Like you have to think the spell, and then therefore you can't think two spells at once. But what if there are people who
Yeah,
can't?
that could be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I always thought.
Unless it's
I
the
mean,
same
at least that's
spell,
what a
like
wand was.
what's the
That's true.
what's the fire spell? Like the
The fiend fire spell.
incendio or something. Yeah,
Oh,
incendio.
I don't know if it's. Yeah, it might be.
If it's the same spell, you just want to do fire in two different directions.
Yeah. That's
Incendio.
true.
Yeah, I don't know.
Although I'll argue this though. If you're gonna go the fire route, if you don't follow Voldemort's footsteps in the vomiting a flame snake out, then
Yeah.
you're not doing it right.
So
If you
yeah,
don't if it doesn't burst, like if you don't summon it like this, like, then it's not the cool one.
yeah, that's true. There's so many things. All right, so the reunion. You watched it. I watched it. What did you think about it?
I mean, like I said this the first time I watched it, I thought it was a little weird, but I thought it all overall, I liked hearing from them.
It
I
had
didn't
a
understand why they were like segregated by this is
groups.
the main three, and then these guys are the fuck who cares group. That
Yeah,
was kind of weird. But other than that,
that's well. Here, I'll
it
tell
was
you what it
good. I
is.
liked
I'll
it.
tell you what it is. I think that this reunion was shot over a few weeks, and I
Yeah,
don't think there was ever a day where everyone could be there.
yeah. No,
You know,
you're absolutely right. They couldn't get
but
them all there at once.
but
So yeah,
that to me though gives credit to what I'm going to say about this. The overall the reunion for me, it had a bit of a cash grabby feel to it. Like HBO Max had just recently come off of doing the Friends reunion, which was a huge success, and I think
yep,
they were like, quick, throw what else could we do?
yeah,
Harry Potter, throw that shit together real fast. And
yep,
they because if this was meant to be a real reunion and they wanted to get it right to do it justice, you think they would have put it far enough into the future to where they could have gotten everyone together in one room and done a big reunion. But the fact that they couldn't and they had to divide it up into little groups makes it feel like they were more concerned with just getting it done, getting it out, getting it on HBO
yeah.
Max.
We didn't see the whole cast or anything either, which was it
The
was just the big names.
well, I mean,
Like,
it
no
was
Mrs. Weasley,
no, no.
no Arthur Weasley. I actually
He
think
was
Arthur
there.
Weasley might be dead.
He was there.
Was he?
Yeah, he was in there.
Oh, I don't remember what. I
No,
don't remember
the
him.
Weasleys that showed up were Ron, obviously.
Yeah, Ron, I knew.
Ginny was in the reunion. The twins were in the reunion, and the dad was in the reunion. That was it.
I guess I just don't remember the dad. Okay, that's good though. I'm
Yeah,
happy.
and they had Hagrid.
Yeah,
The closest we got in the reunion to seeing like a
Hagrid's quote.
yeah, yeah, that was
His
good.
quote really hit me. I was like, of course Hagrid walks in here with the feels. That's what
What's
he
his name?
always
Robbie
was.
Coltrane. That's who is.
Yeah,
Yeah, like what I was gonna say though is like the closest we got to a real feeling of like a reunion was in the opening credits when it's like they're doing like the whole like it's a ball in the Hogwarts Great Hall type thing, and Hermione comes walking through. That was the closest Hermione. Like her name's not Emma Watson. Like
yeah, yeah.
she
Emma.
is Hermione Great. No, like
That is Hermione.
yeah, Emma Watson comes walking through and she sees Tom Felton and she sees some of these characters I just don't know their real fucking names. I'm sorry. She
Yeah,
sees
no, I
Dean
don't either.
Thomas. She
Sorry.
sees Neville Longbottom. The Weasleys were all there. Pretty much everyone was in that like big grand ballroom
Hmm.
scene except for Harry, Sirius, Bellatrix, and I want to say Ron. I were you a little shocked, a little surprised they got Rupert Grint to do this? I'd heard.
No, I mean, I was more surprised Emma Watson agreed to do it than
Oh,
anyone
really?
else. I didn't even
I
think about Rupert.
I heard.
She was the one that most left that sphere. She went to
Really?
university, kind of did her own thing.
Well, Ron
Yeah,
straight up
that's how
like
it felt.
Ron left every like that guy that played Ron has been in like at least Emma Watson and Daniel Radcliffe, they've done other acting roles. Ron doesn't do
Yeah.
shit. Rupert Grint doesn't
Mm-mm.
do shit. He fucked off. He's like, I'm gonna go, get married, have a baby, live a normal life. Uh, I was kind of surprised he came back, but I mean, you offer anyone enough money, and it's also like they here's some weird thing. Me and you just earlier before we started recording this video, we had a big chat about like celebrities and how sometimes they bitch and moan a little too much. Uh,
Because they
these
do.
people, these ones, specifically Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and I guess some of them like the guy that played Draco Malfoy, he's pretty famous from this. But like specifically Emma Watson, Rupert Grint, Daniel Radcliffe, such a young age they started. They sacrifice. It's like people were like, I feel like the way Christopher Columbus like fucking sold them on this and sold their parents on this and let them do it was like, look, if you agree to let your child do this, 100% they are not going to have a normal life. That's going to get sacked like immediately.
Harry's parents
Didn't
surprisingly were the ones that
didn't
knew
want him.
that it was going to be like that. Yeah,
Yeah, but
they didn't want him to do it.
so but it's like but at the same time it's like but in exchange for giving that up, any hope of a normal life, they will immortalize themselves as part of something truly extraordinary. And it is that film series and
Yeah.
just the overall wizarding world and the whole franchise. It is something extraordinary. Like you watch a lot of
Yeah. If you go into the lore of Harry Potter,
yeah, it's
that is
great.
that's a trip that you do not expect to be as vast as it is. Look up just if anybody's curious, look up Horcrux sometime.
Yeah,
Look up Tom Riddle sometime. You'll find out that he made his first Horcrux when he was 16 years old.
yeah,
So
Moaning Myrtle.
if anybody ever was harboring the thought out there that he only became evil because he had a hard life, no. Even if he had a good life, he still would have made
Well,
Horcruxes. Like
the overall theme, I think, and I think J.K. Rowling has said this, the whole overall theme of Harry Potter that she was trying to convey was like love is important, and if you don't have it in your life is going to be
yeah.
your life is going to be kind of shit. And that's the thing, you see that in Voldemort's past, like he did not have love, like, and
Mm-hmm.
he was
But also, he doesn't foster love. He only fostered pain and hate.
can
Anytime he was
you
hurt, he
can
would do
you
something evil instead.
are you capable of knowing how to express love if it's never been shown to you? That's a question of human nature that I don't know if
That's
we
a
know.
good question. I
Yeah.
honestly don't know.
Is love something that has to be taught to you before you know how to show it to other people? Like, I don't know. Most
I
of
mean,
us
like you can
most of
kind
us
of probably make an argument. Yeah, maybe a
well
little bit.
I think the reason it's so hard to narrow down is because most of us, like, before we even get a chance to find out if that's true, most of us are shown love like from the moment we're born. Like our parents, like
Yeah,
are all babies, and
yeah,
they show us nothing but love and affection. So it's really kind of hard for us to wrap our head around the idea of like, I wonder if maybe if I had
yeah.
never known like love and affection, most people get it so early right off the bat in their lives that
And he was born on a doorstep,
Tom
and
Riddle,
his mom died right away. And
yeah, she
also, she
killed herself.
I don't
Did
remember
remember?
how. Did she Imperious cursed?
She
I
killed
think
herself.
her father.
Love potion.
Love
She
potion.
she
Yeah,
was she was never that great of a. It's I am so impressed. I've never reread the books, but I'm so impressed by the amount of book lore, not just movie lore, but book lore that is stayed in here. Like
yeah.
so,
I actually was shocked at how much I'd lost.
she
I was
was
like, wow, I forgot all
yeah,
this.
she was infatuated with this very handsome, very rich Muggle dude.
Mm,
And she was not a very good witch. She'd never had a really good, strong, formal magical education because she was a descendant of Slytherin, and Slytherin had left
yeah.
because he'd been kind of ousted by the other three because he wanted to.
Was she a gaunt? I think a Gaunt.
Maybe I
I
honestly
think.
forgot about that part, but yeah, like
Yeah.
she was descended from Slytherin, but she'd never had a really good formal magical education. She wasn't a really good witch, but she made a love potion. She gave it to that rich, handsome Muggle. It worked for a while. She got pregnant, but eventually it wore off, and he booted her ass. And then I think she had Tom put him on the orphanage doorstep, and then I think she killed herself. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so he hated his mother
Well, he grew
because
up.
for the longest time he believed
He
that his father was a
was the
wizard,
wizard. Yeah.
but it was his mom because he couldn't conceive of having. And you know what? I will be honest with you. I actually understand this sentiment a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I can't conceive of an idea where you have magical power, unlimited magical power. Like, yeah, and you know that you do, and you don't go seek the things that make you immortal and extremely like I can't conceive of and I know in my heart that tons of people wouldn't do that, and that blows me away.
Yeah.
I always thought like if I had to go find dark artifacts or something, there'd be tons of competition. But the reality is Tom Riddle's life. There would be zero competition. He just walked in and like He literally found the only book in existence that teaches you how to make Horcruxes. The only one. He found it in the Hogwarts library. And then he read
To
it,
be
and then
honest, it didn't
Dumbledore took
really
it
even
away.
teach you. He had to go to Professor
He had to piece it
Slughorn.
together.
Yeah.
He had to piece it together. And so he got bits from the book, which the important part that he got from the book was the ritual. He didn't know how to use the ritual, but Slughorn told him that it was from a profane act. And so he goes, and another little tidbit about that whole creation process. That's where Moaning Myrtle came from. This is his first Horcrux. Was
he killed her.
Yeah,
and put
actually,
her.
It was the snake.
Yeah, well,
he had the snake do it.
Yeah, he murdered by proxy. Yeah, he murdered her with the snake.
J.K. Rowling insists that there's more to making a Horcrux than just the killing.
Yeah.
So me thinks that her body was an important aspect of this. Which,
oh man. Yeah.
I don't even mean sexual. I just mean
Here's
like
the thing,
in a
though,
gruesome, horrible way.
I
think that's part of it.
She has, as much as I like J.K. Rowling, and I will always like hold her in high respect for creating this fantasy world. She does a lot of like retroactive adding bullshit because Harry himself was a unintended Horcrux.
Yeah.
But Voldemort didn't have time to do a fancy ritual then. Because he went Avada Kedavra, that shit bounced back.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think, I like the idea for deep lore as a person who likes deep lore. Yeah. I like the idea that making a Horcrux is harder than that. Yeah. But I know for a fact that there isn't because Harry is one. So
yeah, that shit just happened.
To stress about it. He just accidentally made one. It was a sort of extenuating circumstance where like
can we just talk about
soul was so fucked that
can we talk about some of the most absurd, like Harry Potter's great, but can we talk about some of the absurd shit in there? Like, okay, a Horcrux, one of the darkest, most profane, disgusting things ever, can happen by accident. Like, who's making these magical laws? Like, who's writing them? And like, holy shit,
I don't remember the guy's name. I think it was like Otar the Foul or something. He was from Greece. He was the first person to make a Horcrux, and he recorded that you could do it one time. And forever,
Voldemort
literally,
like,
from that time,
6, like
7 from that time to now. So the idea for him was he would split his soul into 7 pieces. He would be the master soul, and then he'd have 6 Horcruxes. Yeah. But he never actually made 6 at a time. There were only ever 5 in existence at a time. Because before he made Nagini a Horcrux, Harry stabbed the journal, killing one of his Horcruxes. So then he only had 5. So he never had his sacred number 7, which I think is a delightful irony. He thought it was he thought the 7 was sacred, but he literally could never make it to the number 7 with his plan. So maybe it was sacred and he just couldn't do it.
I'd never heard that piece of lore that he made Nagini after the fact, but
she was turned into a Horcrux after.
Okay, interesting, but I don't know, man. So I asked Veronica this: do you think that they really filmed the reunion on the sets, or do you think they just went like down to Florida where the theme park is, just filmed it there?
Oh, I don't know. I think it would save a lot of money to use the really nice theme park.
Yeah.
But I don't know, honestly. Dude, they might have done it in a green screen.
I keep telling Veronica, I'm like, well, they showed like Harry and Bellatrix wearing Gringotts and shit.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, they have to have a vault for this stuff, because think about how much money they spend to make these sets. They're sitting somewhere.
A lot of it
for reuse. For
a lot of it went to when the theme park was initially being built. A lot of it.
Oh, really?
Down, like they,
I didn't know that.
Otherwise, it's just gonna sit in a fucking warehouse. So.
But that's really cool. I kind of hope that Ollivanders made it down there just because it's Ollivanders, but they probably just rebuilt that one.
Maybe
it's a real. It has to be a real wand shop.
So I've been there twice, and the first time we went down there, me and Jimmy were in the Ollivanders wand shop, and have you seen videos of it and shit? Like the walls are literally just filled with wand boxes. Me and Jimmy they're doing the little skit over there, and me and Jimmy literally started pulling boxes off the shelf. There really is a wand in every fucking box. Like that's
crazy.
It's their storeroom.
That's attention to detail.
Well, it's also there's a wand store. There's the initial room when you walk in where they perform the little show, but then you go off to like the gift shop area, and that's where the wand store is, and where you can buy like this kind of shit stuff. They're not wood, by the way. I don't know if you know that. They're like this, like they're like a hard.
Are they like polymer of some kind?
Yeah,
like resin,
and they're painted. Yeah. it's kind of
Yeah,
it kind of
I mean, it
sucks
makes them
because
last a whole lot longer.
well, it doesn't because I mean like it makes them more durable for sure. Like I can bang this against
Hmm.
shit, and it's not gonna snap like wood, but uh the wood, it is meant to be wood lore wise, and
Yeah.
the wood look of it is paint, and the paint will wear off over time, and then
Yeah.
you're left with seeing the whatever the fucking
You got
actual
you got to work
material
on your
is.
Warhammer 40K figure
Yeah.
painting skills, bro. Get an airbrush.
So
That's
I
how.
mean,
That's the trick.
as an adult fan, I see why it's like this. Like kids are gonna whip them around
Yeah.
and play with them. As an adult fan who would just like to collect the wands from the characters, I would like it if they offered an authentic wood option as opposed to
Oh
because
man,
I would take
I
care
would
of it.
spend
You
I
know,
would
like
spend more for a. The only thing I would ask is just give me some of those gold legs that
yeah,
hold up the wand, and included. But I would spend more for a wooden one
yeah.
because I
Some
wouldn't swing it around like ever. It would
yeah, I'm
just be
not
in a
gonna play
box
with
somewhere.
it. Yeah.
No.
Some of
Which is
them.
kind of a sad thought now that I think about it. Just a little bit. It's just like me going, huh. But I know I wouldn't. I know I would put it somewhere where I could look
Yeah.
at it and be like, yeah,
Yeah, well,
but that's it.
they make display racks too. Like you could buy there at
Yeah, I'd
the
have to buy more than one.
well, no, like so at the theme park, they sell some of them in sets. Like there's the Death Eater set, so it has the wand on the
Oh,
rack, and then right beneath it, it says the name of whose it is. And it's like so you buy
that's
this
kind of cool.
set, and it's ready for display. Or they have the Dumbledore's Army set. It comes to Harry, Ron, Hermione, Ginny, Luna, Neville, and it has their
I
wands, and
really want that.
it's already in a rack, and then right beneath the wand, it has the character's name, so it's ready for That's what I would do. Uh, on the subject of wands, um, isn't like I didn't question it when I was younger, but I guess it's a more because Harry Potter is what a lot of people consider urban fantasy. It's like it's the magical world hidden within our own, as opposed to just
Right.
like a completely separate fantasy realm.
Yeah.
I guess the wand is a little more like inconspicuous as opposed to like a staff or a scepter or something like that.
Well, they don't need wands at all.
They
Actually,
don't. It's
there's a
just
school in America, Ilvermorny, which is
yeah.
founded based on Native American magic, and Native Americans didn't have wands, and they were just fine.
It's
They
just a
learned wand
focusing
magic, but
tool. Like that's all.
yeah.
Yeah. Like you see Voldemort. Well, no, Voldemort used the wand to do the flaming snake, but like
Well,
you.
he conjured it right out of his hand. He went like
But he
this.
had the
He
wand
stopped.
here.
Oh,
Like
did he? I didn't catch
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay. First of all, I have to say the reason they use wands is because it looks sick as fuck to put a wand to your throat and then summon a flaming snake. That's
yeah.
why they use wands.
Well,
Because
that and
like
like
just this is cool. This is just ridiculous. Like yeah.
I have a feeling that like I've thought about this too. Watching some of the duels in the movie scenes where it's like, how do I put this? The wizarding world and the people in the wizarding world, when it comes to combat, they do with one weapon what we would do with two. So
Yeah.
when it's whether they're
Shield and
well, no, it's if it's close range combat, it's still a wand, and if it's long range combat, it's still a wand. It's just when they're in some of the duels and battles you see in the movies, if the combatants are kind of distanced from each other, you know, they're taking cover, they're popping out from behind trying to fire a shot and
right.
then going back. But when it's close range, it's almost like they're
Yeah,
fencing.
it's like
So it's
yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
yeah,
Kingsley is the king fencer in those movies, dude.
yeah.
When he flies into the roof
Or like
and the one Death Eater kills a guy and he's just like the
yeah, or
best.
like in Order of the Phoenix when Sirius and
Oh,
Harry
when yeah.
duel who they duel Malfoy's dad and someone else. But it's like a 2-on-2 match, and it's literally like they're standing there and they're like sword fencing, like
Yeah, and
with
he says like a good one,
good one,
James, or
yeah,
something like that.
nice one, James,
Yeah,
yeah,
nice one, James. That's it. Yeah, I remember when they started adding those flashes in when they would like block something, it would like dissipate around them
yeah.
a little bit.
Something
That was cool.
I hated is once they realized when they did the you know how Harry and Voldemort's wand since they share a common core they can do the connection thing.
Yeah.
Once they realized how cool that looked on screen, they were like, okay, so fuck the lore. We're going to use this all the fucking time. It doesn't matter. Like, I hated that. Like,
Yeah.
everyone's, like, it didn't matter who was doing it. It didn't matter if their wands were related. There were times where
Yeah.
Harry and Voldemort's, they connected and they shouldn't have because they weren't the brother
Yeah.
wands. There were times when, like, Ron Weasley's dad and this other dude, their wands did the fucking beam
Yeah.
connection. It's just, they just started thinking, like,
I
that's
really
cool.
dislike the beam. I really disliked it in
It's
general. Didn't
cool
it look like
for the
soap foam to
lore.
you?
It's cool for what it's meant to be for. You know, when it's used the way it's meant to be, I didn't have a
Yeah,
problem
when the
with it.
souls start coming out
Yeah.
and like, helping Harry defeat, like, there's nothing cooler in my opinion than when the bad guy has been like unknowingly accumulating nemesis, and then some circumstance occurs, and then the souls get their revenge. That's such a cool.
Yeah.
But like when you only do that once, and it's been shown that it can happen, and then this guy has killed just so many people.
Voldemort
You know,
solved that problem. He solved that problem
yeah, by not using that wand anymore.
Yeah, he told his Death Eaters, he's like, I must kill Harry with another. Our wands
Yeah,
will not kill each other. I need someone else's wand. He took Lucius's,
yeah,
but
it took his.
that's a nice little plot lore thing there. But then the next time you see Voldemort and Harry kind of engage, it's when they're fleeing to the burrow in Deathly Hallows at the very beginning. Voldemort attacks him in the sky, and even Harry's got his normal wand that he's always had. Voldemort is now using Lucius Malfoy's. Their wands still do the connection thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not supposed to happen. You don't.
No.
I don't listen. You cinematographing fucks. I don't give a fuck how cool you think it looks. That's not lore accurate. Like, what do you? Why?
Just use some of the. Go deeper into the lore.
Just do a fucking basic
I'm not gonna
ass fight. Like
before anybody gets any ideas, Harry Potter movies are fucking awesome, and I just watched every single one, and I'm still watching them again from the beginning because I feel like it, and nobody can tell me I can't because I'm a grown man. So I'm doing that. I'm not watching the Fantastic Beasts movies again. I did it. I didn't hate them, but they're just not the same anyway. Yeah. So
why are they called Fantastic Beasts? Like, it was cute for the first one, but like.
Yeah, the next one should have just been Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yeah, they're not. Fuck.
That's my opinion. Like, it was. Yeah, no. But okay, so this is my point. Crimes of Grindelwald displays a number of cooler dueling scenes where you see Death Eaters, or not Death Eaters, I guess. Grindelwald followers,
yeah,
and Aurors fighting. Yeah. You also see Aurors casting the Avada Kedavra spell, which is a fucked up fact about the olden days. Just remember that the wizard world basically mirrors our world and how shit it was in 1920. Like, you know what?
I talked to Veronica about this, and I was like, so yeah, like in our real world, police and law enforcement carry guns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's because, like, you know, we have tasers, but there's a limited range. You know, if we had a firearm that could shoot a completely detachable taser probe that could literally fly like 300 meters and hit a guy accurately, they'd probably stop carrying actual firearms and just carry that. But we don't have that. It'd be
like Star Trek tasers, you know, the phaser set to stun. Yeah. They could do that. Yeah. You know, in solid projectile form.
But we don't have that, you know. And so it's like, I thought about that while me and Veronica were watching these movies again. I was like, I wonder if Aurors use the modern Auror.
They do indeed.
Use the because it's so unnecessary, and it's almost like in the wizarding world, to commit the act of murder with magic, to use Avada Kedavra, it's like it's like 10 times more of a heinous act than it is in our world, because it's 10 times more unnecessary. You literally have so many other alternatives at your disposal. Petrificus Totalis, Stupefy. You have so many.
If you're good enough, you could cast a Confundus charm before you even get there.
Yeah,
and then they won't even recognize you as an enemy.
Like you have, there are so many ways that you can defeat your opponent without killing them, and you still keep yourself safe. But at the same time, though, like we just watched Deathly Hallows Part 1 yesterday, and do you remember the scene right after they escape from the wedding and they're in the coffee shop and those Death Eaters in janitor uniforms attack them? Ron wants to kill the one, right? And Hermione and Harry are like, first of all, they're like, if we kill them, they'll know we were here. I'm like, how? Or they
probably know you're here already. They know you're here already because they were there.
Yeah, and it's like, if we wipe their memories, then they won't know we're here. It's like, I think they're gonna put it together. And also, if we kill them, they'll know we're here. What, you think they're gonna tell? Like, like they're dead.
Oh, these guys are dead. Harry must have done this, that murdering shit.
It was just
he's known for it.
It was just another way for, I get it, it's a young adult book series, and these are supposed to be like 17-year-old kids, but it's like, it was just another way for J.K. Rowling to not quite take it there, when there were at times, looking back on it now as a full-grown adult, I kind of wish she would have taken it there. You know, like, Voldemort has taken over the Ministry. He controls the wizarding world of at least Europe, and shit is going bad. Like, hey, motherfuckers, it's on like Donkey Kong, all right? The gloves are off. Enough of this night cutesy foo-foo. We're another year at Hogwarts shit. No, like a fucking war is going on, and in war
Well,
you murder motherfuckers.
I
Like,
think Barty Crouch. I might be wrong on this. This might have been the first Wizarding War. So I'm new to all the Harry Potter lore, deep lore. But one of the wars, I'm pretty sure it's the second war. It might be the first war. Barty Crouch. Yeah, no, it was the first war because it's Barty Crouch Senior. But he authorized the usage of all the forbidden dark magics to Aurors.
Yeah.
All of it. But yeah, the unforgivable curses were the big ones. But they were like, yeah, go out there and kill them however you can. Which means if you think you control fiend fire, which, by the way, Voldemort made that shit look easy. When he summoned a snake out of fire, that was fiend fire. That shit is not normal fire. It burns everything. Not him. It can, but because he's like a god, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And Dumbledore just stopped it. Like,
yeah.
Those two guys, that scene did not get enough love
up there,
for what they were doing. Yeah,
well,
the spells that they were casting were like...
It's hard to cram that. Like, all they had to work with was visual spectacle. There wasn't time to verbally explain what all this shit is. But I
was really relying on you knowing.
Well, either that or
which
just
fine,
or just
because everyone did.
You see it, and it just in the visual spectacle alone, it conveys to you a sense of like, wow, these guys are in another class. Like,
no more like just flipping spells at each other. That's a snake made of fire.
Do you remember?
Just turned on that glass to sand.
Do you remember Eric? My
Kinnikin?
neighbor.
I mean, not that guy.
Yeah, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. So
sorry.
I remember we went and saw the fifth movie together, and I forget why, but like I guess. Well, how old would we have been? I guess, we can't drive yet. So like, I remember this conversation because it stuck out to me. His dad came along to see it. And his dad was never into this kind of shit, but he took us. You know what I mean? And I remember his dad talking to my dad and saying like, like that. He's like, I went in there thinking I was just, just my turn to chaperone the kids while they did some dumb kid shit and saw a dumb kids movie. He's like, that shit got pretty cool for a moment. Like, they just summoned a fire snake out of his mouth, and Dumbledore was like fucking with water and shit and glass shards and turning them to dust. Like, this grown man who didn't give a fuck about sci-fi, fantasy, anything, found the movie. And that shows that, like, even though they didn't explain a whole lot of the lore, just with the visual effects and the visual spectacle, they were able to convey, like, this is some real shit. When
Voldemort turned into black smoke, and you think for a second that... What I liked about that was that it was meant to make you think for a second that Dumbledore won.
Yeah.
And then for that all to come crumbling down when he was just like, I know I'm not going to... He knew that his objective was not at all to control Harry, as he knew that was not going to happen. It was to make Harry uncomfortable, because that's making people uncomfortable or causing them pain is like the number one thing on his list at all times. But most of all, it's going to make Dumbledore feel uncomfortable, because if shit does work out in Voldemort's favor, he'll then have to kill Harry, which is, I would say, endlessly hilarious to Voldemort.
Keep in mind, at this point, Dumbledore knows Harry's going to have to die eventually because he's a Horcrux.
Yeah, but he also knows that Voldemort has to do it.
Yeah, well, or they could stab him with a basilisk fang, but like,
But he wants Voldemort to do it, is what I mean. He wants the delightful knowledge that Voldemort destroyed one of his own pieces of soul.
Do you remember that scene where he's witnessing Snape's memories after Snape gave him the tears, and it reveals Snape says something in the memory to Dumbledore. He's like, you've been protecting him all these years simply so that he can die at the right moment. He's like, you're raising him like a lamb for slaughter. Voldemort taking over Harry was a middle finger to Dumbledore, like, hey, the reason I can take him over, the reason there's this connection between us is because there's a part of me in him. Hey, and that reminds Dumbledore, like...
I don't think he knows.
You don't think Voldemort knows?
No, at that point, I don't think Voldemort actually knows Harry's...
Oh, yeah, you're right. Because if he knew, why would he kill a part of himself?
He thinks there's a connection because of something... See, this is the supreme arrogance of Voldemort. He believes, I would say, that there's a connection because of him killing his parents. He's like... I'm so dominant over everybody.
And shit like that.
Yeah, and the prophecy has connected us in this way. Our wands are connected.
Destiny,
I can dominate
fate.
you because my destiny is to do that.
Yeah.
But the reality is his destiny is to progressively destroy himself.
The reality is you made an accidental Horcrux, you dumb bitch.
I also love that Harry legitimately wins that. Okay. Actually, since we're talking about scenes in the movie, and this is still that same movie, in the end, or no, that was the fifth we're talking about. This is the end of the all the movies.
Yeah.
When Voldemort dies and turns to dust.
I think we're about to talk about the same thing. I think we're about to.
That was cool and all that he turned to dust.
But the book was better.
But in the book, book,
100%
just so you guys know,
the book was better.
They just put his ass in a fucking broom closet and shut the door.
Dude,
that is 1,000 times better.
More than that, dude. So for those of you who don't know, I'm going to describe it in vivid detail. And if you think if you hear it, or as I'm talking, if you think I've left anything out or you think of anything, feel free to chime in. So
comment it.
Or you, Zach. But yeah.
Yeah. Also anybody. But me.
So Harry's being carried back to the castle by Hagrid. Voldemort thinks he's won. All of a sudden, Neville gives that spiel, pulls the sword out of the hat. At that moment, the centaurs from the Dark Forest come running down and start raining arrows into the Death Eaters. And then out from the Hogwarts kitchens, led by Kreacher, comes all the house elves with their butcher knives and shit, and they start hacking Death Eater ankles. And that's when Voldemort and the Death Eaters realize, like, oh, it's still on. And Harry in Hagrid's arms, pretending to be dead, uses that moment of confusion to jump out, put the invisibility cloak on, and he remains hidden. And he's because at this point, Neville drew the sword and cut the snake's head off in one motion. He did that. At this point, there's no Horcruxes left. So Harry.
I remember the snake death in the book being way better than in the movie. It was still really cool in the movie, though.
It was, but Voldemort had made him kneel at his feet, and Voldemort had Nagini wrapped around his shoulders, and he made Neville put the sorting hat. Remember, he made Neville put the sorting hat on, and Neville felt it hit his head, and Neville took it off, reached in, pulled it out, and went. And cut the snake was on Voldemort's shoulders, and he cut the thing's head off in one motion.
So he was actually the chosen one. Harry was just a circumstantial good wizard.
But the point is, at this moment, there are no Horcruxes left, and Harry knows it. So he jumps out of Hagrid's arms, puts on the invisibility cloak, and he's hiding, and he's looking for an opening to just fucking hit Voldemort. But there's so much chaos going on. The battle moves back into the Great Hall, and it ends up. This is where Mrs. Weasley duels Bellatrix and beats her ass, and Harry says he scanned the room looking for Voldemort. He found him kind of towards the center of the room, and he was dueling McGonagall, Kingsley Shacklebolt, and I think one other person, Flitwick. I think it was Flitwick, honestly.
Sounds right.
All at once. And then all of a sudden, Harry gets up next to him, pulls the cloak off with his wand at Voldemort's neck, and the whole room falls silent, and they both begin to circle each other. And Harry explains to him, he's like, before we do this, I want you to know that wand doesn't work for you. It works for me. And he explains to him why, because he defeated Malfoy, and Malfoy is the one that defeated disarmed Dumbledore. He's like,
disarmed Dumbledore.
He's like, so I'm telling you right now, you think just because you have that badass wand, you're going to win this. But I'm telling you right now, its allegiance lies with me, and this one's allegiance lies with me. So if you try to shoot me, it's not going to work, and you're going to fucking die. Now, I'm Harry goddamn Potter. I will give you the benefit of the doubt. We will put your ass in Azkaban. Just try, surrender. Try for some remorse. And Voldemort doesn't do it. Voldemort goes Avada Kedavra, and at the same moment, Harry says Expelliarmus. Expelliarmus works. Harry's works, and it disarms Voldemort. The Elder Wand goes flying, and Harry catches it. Harry's spell goes all the way through. Voldemort's doesn't, because he casts Avada Kedavra, but it's the Elder Wand, and its allegiance is to Harry. So the Elder Wand's like, well, I'm not going to kill my
I'm not going to kill my owner. Yeah.
So it rebounds, kills Voldemort. But it's like an old style, like Western draw, like a quick draw. It's not this prolonged flying through the air.
I remember it being crashing. Very short. It was all about who owned the Elder Wand.
Yeah, they circle each other for a minute. Harry explains what's up. Voldemort doesn't listen, and then simultaneously they both go bang, one shot, and Voldemort dies. And then, like you said, they throw his ass in a broom closet.
And they throw his ass in a broom closet. The best. Okay, so the best thing about Voldemort's death, besides the broom closet, has to be that it's again an instance of Avada Kedavra rebounding against him. I mean,
But this
how
dude,
could that happen to one guy so many times?
but this
There's
guy,
so many spells.
but this dude, like this time you didn't have any Horcruxes. Last time, it's like to be fucked up by the same thing twice. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I have a standing. I would be a good wizard in Harry Potter. I almost always pick the bad guy side because it's always better and legitimately have reasons why. I wouldn't go murder people, by the way. I don't have to.
Yeah.
It's if you want to. But if I were in the Harry Potter world, legitimately being an Auror is the best case scenario. If you're a dark wizard, so many of the spells have like horrible consequences.
Yeah.
And they will happen. If you use a Horcrux on your soul, you just don't get to pass on, which doesn't mean like there's a heaven, but infinite blackness and sleep is vastly better than being a skinless fetus underneath a chair in a train station for eternity. And that's if you're going to do Horcruxes, basically pick a dickhead that you hate who deserves it and kill him, and then turn yourself into a Horcrux. Make it into something no one will ever find, like a literal pebble on the ground. It can be anything. Yeah. And then you put that pebble in your pocket.
Fuck it,
and
throw
then
it in the ocean.
Or throw it in the fucking ocean. What happened? Something eats it, and who cares? Yeah. So anyway, yeah. And then don't be a horrible asshole and try to conquer the world and kill everyone's parents. Just go be a person, maybe even a great wizard. And then when you die,
you can have what you want.
Resurrected as a 20-year-old version of yourself, and then continue not being an asshole forever. Yeah. Like Voldemort, he had 6, bro. That's like, how many hundreds of years could he have just kept going, even while being just slightly less of an asshole?
If you want to be really honest about it, like, so he didn't hide any of them really well at all. Like, there's so many...
he also picks such obvious objects. You guys, like, I swear, man, nobody would ever guess the objects that I chose as my. Nobody. It would never happen because I wouldn't even know what they are when I decide to make them. I would be like walking around in the woods, and I'd be like, that's it. Yep, it's never been seen by anyone but me before. That's it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And
I'm swimming in the ocean. I find a lobster tail. I'm like, that.
Not only did he chose very prominent objects, but he chose like locations from his past, Hogwarts, that cave that he went to as a kid, like, and what else? The straight up the goblet. He was just like, here, Bellatrix, put this in your vault, like,
and like a ton of people saw him talking to her to get the what was it, the locket of Salazar Slytherin and Helga Hufflepuff's cup. Like, a bunch of people knew that it was Tom Riddle who talked to the girl, and then as soon as she died, he's fucked off. So like everybody knew what happened. If anybody ever had questions, like they're like going through an itemized list of what she owned, they're like, oh, I see a locket and a cup on here. What happened to those? Well, funny story. The only human being who ever spent a prolonged time with her, Tom Riddle, Voldemort, as you know, he was here, and then she died, and then he wasn't, and neither were those two things. So we don't know if that's connected at all, but it's probably not. It's probably, that's crazy now I think about it. Like, why would,
dude,
anyway.
Can we talk for a minute about how, like, it got a little unrealistic at times where, like, it didn't matter what the case was. They tried to play it off like the wizarding version was always better than the Muggle version, and that's not the case at all. Like, male, like, or
so much better.
Can you imagine the mind fuck on this 11-year-old boy when he's told, like, all right, so you're gonna need to write with a feather and ink. And
even though pens exist.
Yeah, and
imagine Hermione's life, dude.
Yeah, like both of them, they've grown up going to the first like 10 years of their life going to Muggle school, like with Bics, just like click, like, and then they're told, like, all right, you're gonna need a feather and a pot of ink, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna need to get you an owl to deliver your. Listen to this sentence: you're gonna need an owl so you can get mail. Like, what? Like.
It's like, I don't want to own an owl. Is there another way for me to get my mail?
Yeah, that sounds like a responsibility. Like,
I was like, aren't we wizards? Can I like create one portal here to where the mail is? And they're like, we'll send you to prison and have Dementors suck your soul out if you do that. Like, great. That seems like a fair compromise. That seems like a good middle ground.
You know those pitch meeting videos?
Yeah. Like,
have you seen the Sorcerer's Stone one?
No.
Dude, okay, so there's a part there where it's like, yeah, they keep trying to send these letters to little young Harry Potter to tell him he's going to Hogwarts, but he just can't get one because his uncle keeps taking them. And you go, wow, man, if only they had like a magical letter that just like read the message out loud to you. And they're like, well, no, they have those, but they're going to come in a later move. It's like, After like, dude, think about that. Like they sent
Yeah,
him
that's true. They could have sent a
a
screamer,
howler.
just
Yeah,
like
they
they
sent
could
him.
have sent a bunch of them.
Dude, they sent him one letter, no response. They sent him 3 at a time, no response. And their third solution was let's just pummel letters like out the ass into the. They weren't like maybe.
I have a theory about the multiple letters thing after Bellatrix Lestrange's vault.
And I'm calling
I
bullshit
think
that he didn't get a hold of one of those. Like that house is flooded.
yeah,
Like,
no. How the fuck did he not get one? Uncle Dursley's 9,000 pounds. He could have just
like,
grabbed one and then like skirted around him. Like, what's he gonna do? Grab
well,
him?
he
He'll
did.
run out of breath.
He grabbed one, but like, and he ran to go into his cupboard under the stairs. But Vernon Dursley grabbed him,
Yeah, that's right.
and he wrestled it out of his grasp. And it's like, okay, Harry, like he got that one. If you haven't noticed, there's like 10,000 more. Just like go get it.
Yeah.
He's not gonna be able to clean all these up before you have a chance to grab one.
No.
Like,
No, there's no way.
yeah.
I thought about a lot of things about the Harry Potter world that they would benefit from the Muggle world. One of them, undeniably, is that Aurors should all carry a 9mm pistol. Why wouldn't they?
Oh yeah, I was about to. That was
like, why wouldn't you?
That was another
I would.
thing I was about to say. There's so many wizards who are just ignorant of Muggle shit. Like
Yeah.
I sometimes wonder like how many like how quickly could this Voldemort thing have been resolved if like you just came out with like a fucking Desert Eagle and he's like, what is that Muggle contraption? And you're like, you just like fucking yeah, like fucking
yeah. I have 10,000 magical wards to defend myself against all.
yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah, I stabbed you. You what? That's not.
I thought it would have been cool. On that note, though, I thought it would have been cool if, like, once all the Horcruxes were gone, rather than it be a wizard duel with like casting spells, which we'd seen a lot of. I thought it would have been cool if somehow like Harry killed him with the sword.
Oh, it was so great.
And the fact that she bothered to bring the sword back at all anyway, I was like, maybe, maybe that's.
Can we pause video for a second?
Yeah, sure.
I'm just gonna go get some.
All right. Okay, so yeah, a lot of wizards are just like really ignorant of Muggle technology and shit. Especially, do you remember when Arthur Weasley convinced them after he got attacked by the snake? He convinced the one wizard doctor to try like Muggle stitches on him instead of like, and Mrs. Weasley got super pissed. Like, yeah. There's some Muggle shit
they don't need.
There's some Muggle shit that's just better. Like, it just is.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Okay, so first of all, the North American wizarding world is actually pretty badass. And did you know that the Magical Congress of the United States is older than the actual like Muggle United States?
No, I did. Oh well, that makes sense though. The foundation of magic in North America is primarily Native American magic, Native Canadian, Native.
They formed
Mexican
their own
magic.
They formed their own like North American government over there well before the United States successfully separated from Great Britain. Yeah. And there's a funny bit of information because when the American Revolutionary War popped off, the current president of the already existing U.S. Magical Congress contacted the Minister of Magic in Europe and was like, because they were like, should we get involved? Like, this is our land. We don't. Our worlds are kind of separate, but it's still our land. Should we get involved? So the president of the U.S. Magical Congress contacted the Minister of Magic in England and said, like, are you guys going to get involved? And they replied back saying, sitting this one out. And then the U.S. president replied back with a message that said, mind you do. In other words, it's like,
you better.
We'll fucking get in there and beat your ass. Like
that's the most American response you're gonna get.
Sitting
like,
this one out.
Hey, are you gonna be fighting this war? Yeah, you better not.
But basically, yeah, they both adopted a policy of like, the magical sides are gonna stay out of this one. We're gonna let the Muggles fight this out. But World War One, they touch on this a little bit in Fantastic Beasts. Wizards.
Oh yeah.
They served in World War One.
Theseus was apparently a war hero. I like that his brother wasn't, but he was like, when you actually find out what he did, he was a person who handled the dragons, like made sure that they were capable of doing whatever the fuck. I assume eating and burning people was what they used dragons for. So
like it's.
I assume he was just as much a war hero.
Imagine that though. It's like, okay, so you are on a side in a global industrial scale war. But even though you're on that side, you still have to keep your existence. You have to help further the military agenda of that side, but you still have to keep your existence a secret.
It's
Like,
crazy.
yeah, that would have been difficult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
It's got they had to do a lot of, I would imagine,
memory,
what Grindelwald
memory.
did, memory
Uh,
stuff. But remember how Grindelwald walked up to that crime scene and nobody saw him? You know, just like couldn't hear him, couldn't see him. You
no.
remember that? Where the Obscurus in the beginning of Fantastic Beasts first strikes, that like destroyed building. If
Is
you
this?
watch closely, none of the police officers ever look at him. He just
Hmm.
walks right through them, goes up a staircase, and was
Oh,
like listening to them talk. Like
yeah.
there's one point where he's facing in this guy's eye line, and like he just
Right.
doesn't see him.
The
So
way
stuff like
my
that.
my head canon for it is like all of the wizards and witches, they enlisted in the normal Muggle armed services, and took up positions as different officers and different ranks or whatever.
Right.
But they carried their wands with them at all times in secret. And even though within the Muggle armed forces they had a particular rank, within their own structure for the Wizarding world they had a separate rank that they them and only other wizards and wizards really
Right.
showed deference to. But it's like, like let's say like Theseus, let's say he was like a fucking lieutenant in the British army. He's out there commanding his Muggle troops, but secretly he's a wizard, and I could see it being like either A, if his unit was about to get fucking decimated, he'd pull out the wand, do what he had to do, but then wipe his soldiers'
Right.
minds. Or in the case of and the reason I kind of think like if the reason I think they integrated into the Muggle military is because if a Muggle unit came across an enemy witch or wizard fighting for the other side, if that Muggle unit didn't have a wizard in it itself, that Muggle unit's fucked. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
almost yeah. So in order to protect, since it's Muggles and wizards and their agenda and goals are the same, in order to protect those agendas and goals, they kind of had to. I feel like they had to integrate and like work together.
Well,
Still secret, but
the European wizards are a lot more chill about Muggles knowing about magic than the Americans are,
yeah,
because of very good reasons. So just so we all remember real history, Europe had a bunch of super crazy religious people who like hated everyone who wasn't them, and they all left and came to America because they could, and that's who founded this place. And
yeah.
when you are a person who uses magic in the country that the Salem witch trials were held, which by the way, there's a snippet about the Salem witch trials
Yeah.
in the wizarding world. There's a spell that Dumbledore uses in the movies to set a armoire on fire so that Tom Riddle can open it and display his stolen trinkets. The fire wouldn't have hurt Tom or him because wizards can just make fire feel like you're being tickled,
Or
or like
nothing.
you're being, or like you being like grazed lightly by a cool breeze. There are descriptions of what they can make it feel like, but like
Yeah.
not fire. It doesn't hurt them. So when they were being burned at the stake, and the irony is that burning a witch or a wizard is like the absolute worst way to kill a witch or wizard. They'll instantly cast this charm that turns fire harmless to them.
Yeah.
So they're just like, they would sit there and scream, acting like they're being burned to death, and then I guess that nobody would question, or maybe they'd, as soon as they cut them down, they just like memory wipe,
Yeah.
walk about my day.
Apparate away. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, apparate away something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Once the people got bored watching, or this cast some kind of illusion that made it look like you were
yeah.
burning, but yeah.
Leave a charred corpse there. Just
Yeah.
like turn like a log into that or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
They're wizards. They can do what they want.
Yeah. Uh it's interesting how, cuz like clearly uh Voldemort's agenda was conquer like the wizarding world and make it so that like, we don't allow half-bloods or muggleborns. But then it's like I also thought part of his agenda wasn't it to like once he'd established that for a while and he'd gotten that kind of settled in, wasn't his next step going to be like, okay, we're going to reveal the existence of wizards to muggles and we're going to conquer the muggles. I thought
Yeah, he was gonna conquer the Muggles was a big
yeah.
part of it. Yeah, they
Did
believe they should be in charge.
did they ever say at one point, or is this a different fandom where it's like one might think that the wizards could easily dominate the muggles, but the muggles with their rate of procreation, which I guess their rate of procreation is, I don't know, there's
It's
more
our
muggles.
technology, in my opinion, dude.
It's the
Magic is great.
technology
Our
and
technology will fuck you up. Like it's not fair
I'd
because
say it's
we're not
equal.
playing by the rules.
I would
I
say it's
don't know.
equal.
I don't think wizards can nuke things.
No, but
That's
I
just
mean,
us.
like, but I mean, it's like, great, but
Yeah.
you have your stockpile of nukes or you have them in their silos. If you're one wizard with a stick, if he can find that nuke, he can. One
I
wizard.
love that it's just with a stick. You can just fuck your whole day up.
You have this fucking nuke arsenal. One wizard with a stick, if he finds your arsenal, can turn the whole thing into rose petals. Like,
That's true. You really could.
We've
so great.
developed the intercontinental ballistic missile. Great, now it's snow. Like bibbity bobbity. Like whatever, like fuck
wizards.
Yeah, what is it called? Transfiguration, bitch. Like
Yeah.
like
yeah. Oh man, that's
Muggles
true.
are
They
like
would just mess with us.
Muggles come in with like their fucking heavy machine guns with all the belt fed. Great, all your bullets are now.
All your bullets are flowers.
Yeah, all your bullets are whatever. Fuck that. All your bullets are scorpions. How about that? Like, yeah. Like,
everything you're wearing is scorpions. Oh my god! Holy shit!
Yeah, like I don't know. I kind of think Voldemort might have been onto something a little bit there. I think it's at least equal to the Muggles' technology.
The problem does arise for Muggles in the form of people like Voldemort, because if there was a guy like Voldemort, he inspires the concept of I want to be stronger than Voldemort, and the only way to know if I'm stronger than him is to obviously kill him. But it's not to like be a benevolent being and then suddenly fix shit. It's like he has an empire, and I don't have to build one if he dies. So that would be a big problem. So you'd have people in a society like that trying to prove themselves stronger. So if you're not a wizard in that scenario, boy, you're going to get firebombed a lot by dark magic. Like they're not going to be nice to anyone.
Or anytime there was like think about this, like in a Muggles versus Wizarding war, you're the wizards on the battlefield in the trenches, and you hear the whistle of like a bomb coming down on you. Like you hear the falling whistle. Yeah, just fucking with your stick. Just fucking protective shield doesn't hurt me. Like
you don't even hear the sound of it blowing up from inside the bubble.
Everything 1,000 feet or higher above me turns to dust. Boom. Like just flippity bibbity. Like
magic is so fucking cool. Like it's like if you could choose between the Force and magic, the choice is obvious. It's magic.
Oh, for sure.
Because if you can't do like anything with the Force, like the Force is, in my opinion, it's so awesome. But it's like it's like what you just said. Okay, I can stop things apparently with telekinesis. Great, I can do that as a wizard. Telekinesis.
Yeah.
I stopped that.
It's just more. It's
just that I can do other shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a wizard, like a D&D wizard.
Yeah.
You have to learn it from books, and then when you found the right book, you just like have a new spell, which implies that you can make spells.
If something of yours, like if my if my watch broke as a Jedi, I can maybe use the Force to put it back together, but I'm gonna have to understand how all those parts fit together, because I'm gonna have to use the Force to physically fit them back together.
Right. I will be, according to how the Force works, seeing it through the Force.
Yeah.
And becoming that size to fit the thing as it goes for, like at the trippiest acid trip you've ever been on. Just.
One magic, like I don't have to understand how that watch works. I just have to have magic and say reparo, and it just does it. You know what I mean?
Magic knows how to do it.
Yeah,
See?
magic knows.
And I thought about what I really want magic for, and it's so lame, but it's true. It's everyday things. Like I would almost not. I would use. I pretty much wouldn't use magic for anything else. I feel like, because what else do I actually do?
The remote is just a little too far out of my grasp. Accio remote, like
Accio remote, instantly. There's something that's kind of out of range for me, and I'm sitting at a chair at a desk. All I have to do is roll forward. But I would Accio to me right now, because why wouldn't I?
You know which one of the curses though? It's like the unforgivable curses that I'm kind of like,
curse.
Yeah, can we please let that be allowed? Like just a little bit.
I don't care if it's allowed or not. I would use it every single day. I would challenge them to come get me, because as soon as they do, I'd be like, Imperio.
Apparate away. Yeah. Hey, I don't care if it's legal or not. Yeah, like, dude, just wizards. Like not that wizards from the Wizarding World go shopping at Walmart, but it's like you could just like the new game comes out, you could just walk into Walmart, grab the game, go up or just find an employee, just Imperio, and then they'll be like, get that game out of the case, get that game out of the case, and then you're about to walk out of the building, they're like, sir, the beeper goes off, sir, can I see your receipt? Imperio, like,
Oh great, okay, thanks. I would use it all the time.
Dude, it's the Jedi mind trick on crack. Like, you want to let me walk out of the store with this game, Imperio. You know what I mean? Like,
but it's so much better because it doesn't matter how strong your will is.
Yeah.
It's just Imperio, you're mine.
I said the word.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Yep, I did the thing. I own you.
Yeah.
Like, and just temporarily too. Like, I can walk away and leave you, and eventually it'll wear off, and that's fine. I can go about my business.
Yep.
The other curse I would definitely use is Crucio. Absolutely. No question. It doesn't kill you.
Yeah.
And I often want to
you're right.
Like, if I meet someone like a real dick, I don't want to kill him.
Dude.
I want to hurt him.
Dude.
And if I could do that by just going Crucio and meaning it,
bro, you want to talk about like not giving a shit if it's legal or not? Like, the 5th movie, Order of the Phoenix, or the 5th book with fucking Umbridge. Like, I'd have Crucio'd that bitch on day 1, dude. I'd have Crucio.
Yes.
One must not tell lies, Mr. Potter. Okay, Crucio. Like,
Crucio.
Just whisper.
I feel like it would be really hard for me not to be like Imperio, and she just standing there. I'd be like, go over to the window, open it, stand on the ledge, now jump.
Dude,
get out of here.
Like, just pass her in the hall, Crucio. Just dude, yo, hey, something else that I noticed. You know, I told Veronica when in the Great Hall, when Dumbledore steps up to the podium to speak, the owl wakes up and unfurls its wings.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yo, that's some big G, that's gangster, that's some big G shit. That's like, hey, shut the fuck up, Big G's talking. Like,
silence.
I was like, like the first time I noticed that it did that, he stepped up, it opened up its wings. I was like, that's badass. That's some gangster
so
shit right there. That's like,
he did that himself too. He's like, I like this podium, but it needs an owl that only awakens for my presence. And they're like, okay.
I wish he would have been a bit more like fucking cocky when Cornelius Fudge came to try and arrest him. Like, I wish he would have been more like, you little fat punk ass little bitch.
You think you're gonna arrest the greatest wizard of many generations?
Cornelius, need I remind you, they wanted me to have your job. I said no, and now here we are dealing with your little bitch ass. Like, it's
my job, and I don't want it.
Need I remind you that the only reason you're minister is because I don't want to be, but if I said I'd do it, they'd fire your ass in a heartbeat, or they would have before Dumbledore started Voldemort's back. Yeah, like.
But it just goes to show you, proper use of the Imperius Curse is a big and powerful tool. He had the ministry in like a day because he Imperio'd the leader of it. Like, you ever think about his plans, how they're really obvious?
Not at the beginning. That was just Fudge being scared, not wanting to.
Wasn't it by the 7th? I'm thinking the beginning of the war, the seventh movie.
Oh yeah.
7th movie.
They take over the ministry, like they actually like physically by force like take it over, and then he instills he puts his puppet minister in.
Oh, didn't he? Was it the 5th book then that he had? Because he already had a puppet. There was a book where he already had a puppet. He used the Imperius Curse on the leader. It wasn't Fudge though. It might have been Fudge. I don't think it was.
No, it was someone else. It was the last book. Fudge. So
Fudge. Okay.
Fudge.
I'm just adding 2 memories together.
At the end of the 5th book, when it becomes very clear to the entire wizarding world that Voldemort is in fact back, Fudge is forced to resign because he looked super incompetent. They then replace him with the minister. Bookwise, they immediately replace him with a new minister. That's the dude that comes and gives, in the 7th one, that gives Ron the Deluminator and gives Hermione the Beetle the Bard book. In movie-wise, though, we didn't see him until the beginning of the 7th movie, part 1. But really, he replaced Fudge immediately. That guy is not the puppet. He straight up just gets killed.
That's right. He was he was in the 6th book, right? He was instilled at the beginning of the 6th book. Like the very first time we heard his name.
Yeah. And remember in the movie when the wedding, Fleur and Bill's wedding gets attacked, right before it gets attacked, Kingsley sends that like audio message in that orb of light.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, it's just a quick message, 3 statements. The ministry has fallen. The minister of magic is dead. They are coming. Yeah. So they straight up just attacked the ministry by force, killed that dude, and he put a puppet minister in place. Like,
that's crazy. Bold move. But when you think about how easy it is to take ministry. Yeah, bold move, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off for him. Cotton.
Jeez.
Oh, that's the best movie ever made. For those who don't know, go fucking watch Dodgeball. And what are you doing with your life?
Oh, man.
So, there's a new game coming out for Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
and I don't
It's an
know what it's
MMO
called. I
kind of,
should
right?
probably know. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like it.
You make
Well,
you
sounds
design
cool.
you make your own character and you get
Yeah,
sorted into your house and yeah, I played a few of the Harry Potter games back on the PlayStation 1 days, dude. That's how long it
yeah.
like
So did I.
dude, like that was
The Was it Sorcerer's Stone that was PS1, I think, and
I
Secrets?
I played the first two on PS1, never finished Sorcerer's Stone, but me
No.
not just me, like me, you, Drew, Ricky even was still around at that point. Like they'd all come over and we'd all take turns. Like if one of us died, we'd swap the controller.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, we ended up beating the second one. We killed we killed the snake and
Oh,
yeah.
I
But yeah,
vaguely do remember getting pretty far in
PlayStation
the second one.
PlayStation 1, dude. That's how long ago that was. I
Yeah.
haven't played a Harry Potter game
That
since.
was when the spell Flipendo was still the spell you never hear in the
The
book or the movies.
ever.
Flipendo.
Yeah.
Never. It was a curse.
Nintendo.
Do you know that? Well, it's not a curse. It's like a jinx. But it's
Yeah.
on the list of dark magic spells.
Well,
It's
it's
technically dark
basically
magic.
it was basically stupefy. That's really they just
Yeah.
had she hadn't written when the time came for her to put like your bread and butter offensive combat spell into the lore. She called it stupefy. The game needed one
Yeah.
earlier than that because it's part of the game, so they called it
Yeah, because it was
flipendo.
still only on the second book at that
Yeah.
point. Well,
Yo,
probably
can I
third or
just
fourth
say
book.
fuck stupefy? Like it seems
Yeah.
like a good move, but all it is like it's like a really just strong kick in the chest. Like that's all it is.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
Petrificus Totalis, like so much better shit.
Bro,
Crucio.
we also have to remember that there's the spell Reducto, which just blows the fuck out of whatever you shoot with it. So
Yeah.
if there's a guy in front of you and he's like
Reducto.
got his wand out, Reducto, and just watch as his arm is gone and he's like, ah!
Yeah.
And then do it one more time if it didn't kill him. It should have, but if
Yeah.
it didn't. You can also just Reducto like the ground underneath their feet and send them all flying. It's like a multi-hit version of Stupefy. Like, what are you wizards doing?
It goes back to what I was saying about earlier about how like what that scene where Ron wanted to kill that dude and Harry and Hermione were like, no, it's like she was trying to keep this story a little more toned down, innocent, PG than it realistically would have been. And people who argue that it's like, hey, they're 17-year-old kids, like, geez, give them a break for not wanting to murder a guy. It's like, well, it goes beyond that, like these kids are 15, 16, 17 going to school at a co-ed school. There are no teen pregnancies at Hogwarts. None. Zero. Like
Abortio is a really popular spell. Like they don't fuck around.
Shit.
They got a spell. They got something.
Man.
They do. There's no way that
Madame
they made it that far.
Is up there.
Yeah, she's got a juice that they drink or something. Like
holy shit.
It's something. Dumbledore's had to send some letters home.
You know what I'm trying to say is it's like what book was it where the fourth book they had the fucking ball and that was kind of like the beginning of the whole like the teen romance, the boys and girls getting interested in each other thing. I think it was the fifth book when Harry and Cho like make out for a bit, and then the sixth book, Ron and that one girl get together, and the book references them like going off and making out like a ton, and I'm like, look at you, J.K. Rowling. Like, you think 16-year-old kids and you think them making out's a big deal? Like, you think that's some shit? Like, do you have any idea what I was up to when I was 16? Do you have any idea, you fucking simple bitch? Like, I was 16 years old. I was balls deep. Like,
part of me wants to just believe that Hogwarts is like just this pure place where they're just all real pure. But you know that they're just like normal people with magic.
Yeah,
it would be worse, don't you think? It would be worse. It would create silent rooms that nobody could hear anything in. Like, don't worry, baby. Nobody could nobody can.
The room of requirement. You know what I mean? Yeah. And dude, dude, the fucking, and when Hermione had that time turner, I was just like, can you imagine? Like, you never have to fucking, no one ever has to know a thing. It's like slip off. Like, we don't have time. I have class. You have all the time in the world.
We literally have plenty of time. Don't worry. Yeah, we'll reverse time in a minute.
Yeah, like, oh my god. Yeah, dude, it would have been. There's so many like the Dark Forest would have been dark in a different way. You know what I mean? Like
that would have been a real interesting choice of place. I think, given the numerous places in Hogwarts.
The Shrieking Shack. There would have been some shrieking going on in there. I'll tell you that.
I knew that was coming.
Oh man.
Somebody's getting whomped under the whomping wheel.
Oh, dude, that would be a
My
game.
God.
See if you can fucking
Yeah.
finish. See if you can
See
finish
if you can
before
do it
getting
well enough.
fucking whacked. Yeah.
Madam Pomfrey. People just go, Madam Pomfrey, how did you get 6 broken ribs? I want to fucking talk about it.
Oh my god.
You know how this happened. You know damn well.
Oh man. Holy shit. Woo. And then Harry's literally the only one at that school that can open up the Chamber of Secrets. Like it's gross, but I mean, push
Yeah,
comes
you
to
can
shove.
go down there.
Yeah, like
He
oh my
can,
god.
we actually know now
It's the
that
most
he's not the only one.
irresponsible school, like of all time. Like if you think about it, like they give kids magic, they give them the equivalent of a gun. There's very little supervision, like at all.
Like none. Did you ever remember the scene? Was the 4th movie where no, it's the 3rd movie where he gets the Marauders map. He's walking around the school, and Snape, in the pitch black, is just walking around the hallways. He literally turns on his Lumos, and he sees Harry, and he's like, "What have you got there, Potter?" And he takes it from him, and then he's like walking away, sends Harry to his room, where Lupin takes Harry to his office, and Snape's walking away, and it's pitch black without his Lumos on, and he just turns off his wand's light and continues to walk down the hallway in solid darkness. I was like, this is the least effective staff I've ever seen in my life. Like, he's supposed to be patrolling the hallway, so he turns off his only means of patrolling.
After we're done with this video, go watch the Sorcerer's Stone pitch meeting. I
Okay.
swear, dude, it's so fucking like, oh, so they're like, so how do they keep the Sorcerer's Stone safe? Well, they put a bunch of challenges in front of it. One of them is a 3-headed dog. They keep a giant 3-headed dog locked in a room for a year. Sounds pretty inhumane. No, it's cool. Don't worry about it. And then there's like this, and then there's like this giant chess match where the pieces come to life and like actually kill you. Oh shit! So like, are the kids gonna be okay? Well, Ron's gonna fall from like 3 feet and then just kind of be a real drama queen about it. Like,
oh god. Even when I was a kid, I thought, why is he hurt?
And then the best part of it is they go, well, then Harry finally has to go on by himself because they say so, and like Hermione couldn't go with Ron's fine. No, anyway, so it's like he gets to the room and there's this mirror and the stone is in the mirror, but it's only available to you if you wanted to find it but not use it. And the guy, the executive dude in the video is like, kind of sounds counterproductive for Harry to be there then. Like the stone was safe the whole time. Like honestly, if Harry hadn't gone down there, that dude would have never had a chance of getting it. And then they go, also, if that's the only way you can get it, otherwise it stays in the mirror, makes all those other challenges seem kind of pointless too. Don't you? Like why was there all this other shit if you can only get it out of the mirror if you want to find it but not use it? Does Voldemort want to use it? Abso-fucking-lutely. Well, then it should be good to go. You know what I mean?
We should be fine.
Yeah. Like, nah, I think we need to put a giant chess game, some fucking flying keys, some vines.
It needs to be the raid Karazhan from Burning Crusade.
Yeah.
They have to go through boss fights to get to.
Ron's gonna fall from like 3 feet and
3 feet.
Just be a real drama queen about the whole thing.
When I move.
Yeah. Just fucking A.
This is such a Ron way, but like that actually fits Ron's character so well because later on, something happens to like his ankle or something, and Lupin when he turns into a werewolf. No. It was when Remus was in his animagus form and he pulled Ron into the tree.
Serious?
So after everything's been So when everything's been sorted out and they're out of the tree, right before Lupin turns into a werewolf, Ron is laying on the ground holding his leg, talking to Hermione. He's saying over and over again, they're going to have to cut it off. And she's like, no, I think Madame Pomfrey can do something for it. And he's like, no, it's not to bits. They're going to have to cut it off. Like the whole time. He just keeps repeating that.
Did you like in the reunion when the one director said like he gave them homework and told them to write an essay in the part as their character? And Ron was just like, fuck you. Like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, and then his reason was so good. He was like, well, I just didn't think Ron would do it.
Ron wouldn't do it, so I didn't do it. Like, I'd have been like, hey, am I getting paid millions of dollars to be here and do this shit for you? Great. You don't get to give me homework. You're not my dad. Like,
I'm not. I thought it was funny that he had them do homework at all. I thought that was where's my hair tie? Okay. I thought it was funny. Like they're we got to make sure that they remember that they're kids. I'm like, these people are never going to be normal kids,
dude. Hey,
for
so
even 1 minute of their lives.
clearly some of them have aged better than others. Like Dean Thomas looked just like the adult version of himself as a kid. Neville's definitely grown up. He looks better than he ever did when he was younger. But just do you ever look at some of them, specifically Rupert Grint, Daniel Radcliffe, and the guy that played Malfoy? Do you kind of look at them now as adults and go, I think you spent some of your money on some hard drugs at some point or another. Yeah, I like you. It's in
they did some. They had some fun
in the bags under their eyes, like and shit. Like you can just kind of see it. It's like, well, also I remember when the 5th movie came out. I remember seeing on like magazine articles and shit in stores. It was like, Daniel Radcliffe was officially the wealthiest teenager in the world, like because of how much he was now making on Harry Potter, and it was just like, yeah, you know, if I was making that kind of money, I might dabble in some hard drugs too. Just, you know, try it out.
Yeah,
you know?
I definitely would have.
Yeah, like
I didn't have money and I did too. So
yeah, like you
didn't do any what
and
they
plus
did.
The kind of parties and shit they're getting invited to with their level of celebrity. They just I have this is all alleged. I have no way of confirming.
Yeah, we're not saying anything.
Yeah, but like you know, especially I think the most drastic change has been in the guy that played Malfoy, because he was a pretty clean cut little kid, and now he just kind of looks like this greasy, you know, wrinkly, baggy under the eye, big, like, dude, the top portion of his head, the top half of his head is significantly bigger than the bottom half. It's he's got a bubble like mushroom head. It's weird. It's weird to look at. I'm saying it. All right. Yeah, but
I mean, I'll have to watch it again. I didn't notice. I mean, I definitely noticed that he looked. I think I look more tired, so I think it's just a little rough product of aging.
Yeah.
But some of them I definitely thought maybe there was some drug use. It's pretty common in Hollywood.
The girl that played Ginny has aged.
Oh, I actually don't even remember seeing her. Or Arthur, I remember seeing.
Dude, the girl that played Ginny, she looks like a straight up like middle-aged suburban soccer mom. Like she is aged. She? Luna, I don't know. Luna, she's 30.
Oh God, so, I'm 30.
Yeah, so you know, but and Luna looked pretty normal, like how you remember Luna. Hey, real quick, I mentioned this to Veronica. Prior to them doing the whole Harry and Ginny love romance dynamic, they introduced Luna in book 5, and if you reread Harry Potter and watch the movies, they actually devote a decent number of scenes to just Harry and Luna hanging out talking. Yeah. Did you ever early on get the vibe like, oh, this is why they're introducing her, she's gonna be his main love interest?
I thought she would, and I also thought that she would have a bigger role in divination than she actually ended up having.
I thought okay. Like that's to explain why she's kind of spacey and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, she's just a natural like oracle. Mm-hmm. And I just thought like later on, before the 6th book was even out, I thought like maybe Luna was going to be the new like prophesier who would like help them find all the Horcruxes or something. I didn't know what the Horcruxes actually at that point. But in the 6th book, she just didn't have. They kind of started moving their relationship apart. Yeah, they went with. I don't know if in the book she went with Neville. Luna, the 5th book, I want to say, but it was probably the 3rd book.
No, it had to be because she. Oh no, Neville takes Ginny to the.
It was pretty far in. It wasn't. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that could have been the 3rd book or it could have been the 6th book. But I know it was.
I think you're right. It was the.
I think it was the 5th.
Yeah.
Because she was introduced and became a part of the Dumbledore Society. I forget what they were called.
Dumbledore's Army.
They
introduce her. They give her a significant enough alone time with Harry. Then they show Harry and Cho not working out, and I'm like, oh, if the pieces are falling into place here, they brought like Luna is Luna, but now then it's just Ginny, and like I liked it.
Nobody saw Ginny coming. For the record, everyone thought that was.
Everyone kind of we accepted it. I remember accepting it as like fine, but yeah, looking back on it, I kind of feel like I don't know, Luna. Not Luna and Neville. They don't end up. Oh, Neville does. Yeah,
I
Neville.
don't.
Neville says he's crazy about Luna.
I didn't remember. Yeah, he says in the movie
Yeah.
that he's crazy about her. I don't know if the book, if that's how it happened in the book.
I don't remember either.
That's how it happened in the movie. I don't think it is. I'm probably wrong.
Neville becomes headmaster
really
of
long time.
Hogwarts.
He does?
Yeah.
Yes, my boy Neville. He deserves it.
Yeah.
And honestly, who would be a better headmaster of Hogwarts? Like, he's fair and just, and he's
Harry
a pretty
Potter.
damn
Hermione Granger.
Yeah, why the fuck isn't Hermione the headmaster of Hogwarts? Yeah. That's a much better question. Why isn't she the headmaster? Okay, now I rescind my fist pump. It should be Hermione.
Because the story's over and she doesn't matter anymore. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? The story's
my
over.
My headcanon is that she's the headmaster and that Neville is an Auror, which
Hermione was,
makes more sense.
You gotta understand, like, Hermione was this very talented, very educated, very smart witch, but she was there to service the plot a lot. Like, it was her expertise that helped move the plot along in a lot of instances.
Oh, we need to get through a locked door. Oh, well, I know that spell because I've read every book.
We need them to have these items with them. How did they do? Well, Hermione's so good at magic, she made a fucking bottomless bag. You know, like
it's got all the items they'll need.
Yeah,
except for the things that destroy Horcruxes.
Once the story was over and you got to that like epilogue that showed them like 13 years later, it's like there was nothing in that epilogue that they needed Hermione to do to advance the plot. So she was just Ron's side piece at that point, you know, just kind of hanging out there. And Ron looked rough. Ron got yeah. Anyway. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we don't gotta drag this video out too much longer. I liked the reunion. I know this video hasn't really been a whole lot about just the reunion. We talked about Harry Potter in general, but that's just because, like, you know, when me and you like something, we find it like we have less things to say about because we liked it. You know, when we hate something, we have more to say. You know.
Yeah, and to be honest, and I hope people agree, I like the rage videos a little bit more because like talking about things you like is easy, but people don't like hearing things about like harsh things about things they love. And honestly, hearing some of the things people hated about Star Wars was a good eye opener for me to like pick something else to like for a while because you know they were right.
So they are. Like,
that's all I'm trying to. Yeah. With this, Harry Potter's just so good. It's hard to say like too many.
You can find a few little things in there, but you know, I mean, the fact that I think the only thing you can really say about Harry Potter overall is that the fact that it retains that like childhood level of innocence throughout the entire story, that's a little, you know, but it is a young adult book series, you know, like we talked about, like, you know, the behavior of 16, 17-year-olds in that series is not really realistic.
They're very nice. Well, we can just say that they're the nicest 16 and 17-year-olds in the world.
Yeah.
Like super innocent, super polite.
For 16, 17-year-olds.
For 16, 17-year-olds, yeah.
Yeah. And then yeah. And then in terms of the reunion, my only complaint was that like it felt rushed. It felt like HBO wanted to just throw it together to have it on the HBO because they knew people would subscribe to watch it. Like it felt a little cash grabby. It didn't feel like there was as much love put into this reunion as there was into like the Friends reunion. And arguably,
I think that's what I agree with you, dude. I think that's what I felt. It didn't feel like they were all super happy. This is a great thing.
The number one reason,
like put together.
The number one reason for doing it was not to celebrate it.
Yeah.
The number one reason was for money. The number two reason was to celebrate it. But like you look when you compared with the last big reunion HBO did, which was the Friends one, the Friends one was a little hindered by COVID. You know, like there wasn't as big of a studio audience there, but like I felt like they kind of went all out with the Friends reunion. It really was meant to be a celebration. The Harry Potter one, and here's the thing, Harry Potter, like it almost deserves to be celebrated more. I would say it does. It's equal. It's up there equal with the popularity of Friends. You know, the books have been translated into God knows how many languages and sold God knows how many millions of copies. It has a film franchise. It has a theme park fucking franchise. Like it's big. It's as big, if not bigger, than Friends. So it deserved a equal level of celebration. But it just had a little bit of a cash grabby feel to the reunion, I felt.
Yeah, it did. I mean, yeah, it felt very. The beginning was nice. It started to get a little weird when it was clear that the whole cast wasn't really going to be together. I liked the Gary Oldman and Harry Potter
parts
one-on-one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And the Bellatrix, I'm sorry, what's her name? Helena Bonham Carter and Harry one was just her wanting to have sex with
Yeah,
Harry
I
the
was
whole
just about to
time.
say, yeah, she wants to fuck
So
Daniel Radcliffe.
she just wants to bone Dan.
She
And
wants to
Dan,
fuck.
if you're watching,
And
you
here's the
get
thing.
that.
And
You go
here's the thing.
after it, boy.
Dan.
He's
Here's the
dating
thing.
someone your age now, so
Dan wanted to too back. Remember, she pulled out that letter
yeah,
like he'd written
yeah.
her.
Oh, he wanted, yeah.
Yeah, he
And now,
wanted
and now
to
she
too
wants
back
you,
then.
so
Yeah, because now it's not weird. You're an adult now, so
now it's not weird. No, it's
Yeah.
not, and it's not. So go after it.
Yeah.
So that's what I say. If Dan
Yeah.
sees it, you go get it.
And there was also real quick that moment where
Yeah.
they tried to like they wanted to they introduced a little bit of like a dramatic moment into the reunion. So they talked about how like, oh, there was this time where Emma wasn't sure she wanted to come back, but then they were just like, but
Yeah.
then she got the fuck over it
But
and
then she
did.
did.
Yeah, like.
But then she did, because obviously she did. So
Yeah. It's like, why did you even feel the need to mention it? Like, clearly it amounted to nothing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
we needed some drama in this place that's supposed to be a reunion
Yeah.
to bring joy to people. We need to make it dramatic.
Yeah,
What
we
kind of
need to make
psychopath wrote that in
it
there?
wasn't all sunshine and cupcakes. It's like, yeah, it was. Like, you
Yeah,
fucking
it
kidding me?
was. It was
Yeah.
mostly, yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody died. There weren't any shootouts.
You
Nobody was
all
starving to death.
you spent your childhood and your young adult lives surrounded by making and then surrounded by some of the greatest friends and professional peers and acquaintances that you'll ever have, and you got to be part of creating this magical universe franchise that is now immortalized. And like Hagrid said, like decades from now I'll be gone, but Hagrid won't be. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, yeah, great, you didn't get a normal childhood, but the trade-off was worth it. You know what I mean?
And I mean, in more ways than one, they did get a normal childhood. Most people don't have 70 friends, and they
Yeah.
don't, you have
No,
the same
let's put it this
group
way.
for the most part.
Most people don't have like dozens of brothers and sisters, because it's beyond friends.
Yeah.
When you're with these
Yeah.
same people day in and day out, like, because they filmed those movies back to back to back. So like for
Yeah.
10 years straight, they were seeing each other like every day, every week. So yeah, it's more like a family. Like
Yeah.
you traded a normal life for, yeah, it came with a level of fame and celebrity. I'm sure that has its, I'm sure there's times where that's kind of annoying, but the
Oh, of
fame and
course.
celebrity, but
Yeah.
it's like, I think the trade-off was worth it. You made a fuck ton of money, you made something truly amazing, and now you have this giant family that like is going to be part of your life
Yeah.
for the rest. Yeah. So yeah,
If one of
yeah.
them gets a PS5, you can just go to their house and play it there. That's the kind of friendship they've got.
Yeah,
Like,
like,
that's
yeah.
you know what
So
I'm saying? Like,
fuck off with
they're
this,
good.
like, oh, there was some bad dramatic moment.
Yeah,
No, there
yeah.
wasn't. No, there wasn't.
No, there wasn't.
It was a
There was
fun.
normal teenage drama when it happened, and then it
Yeah.
went away, and nobody even remembers
But
it.
then you stopped and thought, I'm making millions of dollars and I'm Harry Potter or I'm Hermione Granger. So like it all made it all better. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that, yeah.
All right, man. Well, I think we've said everything that needs to be said.
I think so too.
All right, dude. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
I don't know.
Later, man.
I don't have any more video plans in the near future, but I'll talk to you soon. All right, later.